Okay, so today we have a string tutorial for the Nike CEO2 face-off head. So as you can see, it's got a nice kind of mid pocket, really fits the shape of this head very well. The ball will also be able to shift down as well. Pretty tight channel. As you can see, you'll probably need to break this in just a little bit and you'll be able to punch the ball out easily. This isn't the best face-off mesh I have here. This is LU Platinum mesh. If you're using something like Shrinking Forest or Hero 3.0, maybe even 2.0, you shouldn't have any issues with the ball getting stuck in the back of the head. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Okay, so before we begin, you're going to need to do a 9-diamond top string, just like you can see I've done here. You're going to do that 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. So once again, 9-diamond top string on the second hole of the head. Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm going to be using this kind of Hawaiian blue or almost kind of Duke royal blue color so that way you guys can see clearly. We're going to start the pattern on the third hole of the head, just below that sidewall hole that we used for the top string. So we're going to go into the plastic from the outside. We're going to go up and through that first available mesh loop, just standard tie and loop, so up and through. Take your leading in string, go from the back and through of that same sidewall hole and up and through that mesh hole once again. So it's just crossing over on itself. And there's our starting knot. Okay, so let's go ahead and step into the pattern. We're going to skip the next available sidewall hole and we're going to do an anchor knot. So we're going to go into the plastic, making sure to skip one sidewall hole. Pull your string through, just leave a small loop here on the end. Take your string, go from the front up and through of that next available mesh loop. Take your string, go from the back and through of that loop. And you should see a pretzel should form. That's how you know you're doing the knot correctly. From this side, we're going to pull our slack from the inside. Make sure that this knot rests on top of the bottom rail, so it should be that flat space. It shouldn't be kinked over to one side. So we're going to pull that nice and tight. Pinch the sidewall string to the plastic, and then pull your leading in string straight downwards. And you're going to pull that nice and tight. So there we have our first knot. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times to finish out the channel on this head. So we're going to skip the next available sidewall hole. Go into the plastic from the outside. Once again, we're going to leave that small loop. Take your leading in string, go from the front and up of that same, or that next mesh loop, I'm sorry. Take your string, go from the back and through of that loop. Once again, a small pretzel should form. Take your sidewall string and pull the slack through from the inside. Make sure to rest the knot on top of the plastic. Pinch that sidewall string to the plastic as well. Pull your leading in string straight downwards. Making sure that's nice and tight. And then there we have our next one. We're gonna do that 1 more time. So skip the next sidewall hole into the plastic from the outside and up and through that next available mesh loop. Going from the back and through that loop. And once again, just following the same process. Pull the slack through, rest it on top of the bottom rail, pinch it to the plastic, and then pull it straight downwards. Nice and tight. So there we have those 3 anchor knots, and that's going to give us a nice channel to make sure the ball is coming out consistently. All right, so after doing those anchor knots, we're going to go ahead and start to create the actual pocket. We're going to do that by using 3 ones. So we're going to go up into the next available mesh loop. Going to go into the sidewall hole, or the next available sidewall hole from the outside. And then here we have a loop that we're essentially just leaving over. Pull that. Not all the way. Before we do that, we're going to pinch the middle of the mesh, pull it up towards the top of the scoop, pull our leading in string outwards, and then up and then down. Do that 2 more times, so down or up and through that next available mesh loop, into the plastic, coming through the loop that we leave over. And we're pulling the mesh and then we're pulling the string away from each other because that's going to help to create the actual pocket. We're going to do that 1 more time. Making sure to pull the mesh up towards the scoop, pull the link and string outwards, up and down, and it should also be nice and tight. So there we just did our 3-1, so it's gonna help to start to create some definition in our pocket. Okay, so after those 3 knots, we're gonna do 2 SIs to essentially finish out the pocket. This is a pretty basic pattern overall. So we're gonna go down to the top of the next available mesh loop. You're gonna go into the plastic from the outside. You're gonna come through that loop that we leave over here and then pull it, but not all the way. Before we do that, once again, pull the middle of the mesh, pull it up towards the top of the scoop, pull the leading end string outwards and then up and down. And you're gonna take your leading end string, go from the bottom and up of that same mesh loop. And then we're gonna pull that string up and then down, and we're making sure we're pulling the mesh and the string away from each other. So as you can see, that's locking down that piece of mesh there. We're gonna do that one more time, down to the top of the next available mesh loop, into the plastic from the outside. Make sure to come through that small loop that we're gonna leave over here. Pull that all the way through, up and down, and then from the bottom and up of that same mesh loop. And then once again, up and then down. Now we're going to finish out the pocket. We're gonna do that by skipping the next side hole and do the center interlock tie off that we always do. So we're gonna go into the plastic from the outside, making sure to skip one sidewall hole. We're gonna leave a small loop. And then from this side, you can see we have our next available mesh loop. So from the inside of the head, we're gonna take our string, going to go up and through that mesh loop. And then we're gonna take our string once again, and then go from the back of that loop that we left over. You're gonna pull this outwards just a little bit, but not all the way. Before we do that, once again, pull the middle of the mesh, pull it towards the top of the scoop, pull this leading end string outwards, and then up and down, nice and tight. And if this string kind of kinks off to the outside, you can pull the middle of the mesh kind of inwards just a little bit, and then kind of redo the knot essentially. That'll help kind of clean up the pocket a little bit. And to completely finish out, take that leading end string, go from the further to the inside of the head, but down and through that same mesh loop. So we're going to go through that same mesh loop, but further to the inside. So the string is just going to cross over on itself. And you're going to take your leading end string and then go out and through that bottom sidewall hole, if I can get to it. There we go. And you're going to simply just go ahead and tie a knot. Okay, there we go. And as you can see from this side, the string is just crossing over on itself. And there should be no sidewall holes left over outside of the bottom string holes. Okay, and if you did that correctly, you should have a really nice looking mid, almost mid-low pocket in the Nike CEO 2. So it's gonna be great for face-off guys, especially if you need to stay on the field. You'll also be able to score some goals with this, of course. So once again, nice to find mid pocket that fits the shape of the head pretty well. Pretty tight channel that'll probably need to get broken in just a little bit, as you can see. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this tutorial or found it helpful, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and as always, thank you for watching.